No, you cannot phone a friend. All right, so on page 87, just to kind of go through all these with you guys again. Number 1, it says a parabola has an axis of symmetry at y equals 3. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the axis of symmetry. 1, 2, 3, make a line. A lot of times we make the axis of symmetry a dashed line going through it. Remember what an axis of symmetry is that it's cutting it in half. So if you've got an axis of symmetry that's going right and left, which way does your parabola open? Right and left. Okay? If you've got an axis of symmetry that goes up and down, it opens up and down. That's how you figure that out. And passes through the point 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. What it wanted you to do on number 1 was find another point that lies on the graph of the parabola. And now, for example, if that line is running right through the middle of it and I'm 1, 2 spaces down, how would you come up with another point? Go 2 spaces up. What ordered pair would that be at then? Did I go right or left any? No, so I'm still at 2. Then how far up would it be? 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay? That's it. Now again, what happens if it goes up and down instead? Then I look to see how far either to the right or to the left of it is, and I move the same distance on the other side. Are you guys okay with number 1? You did not have to find the equation. You did not have to find anything else other than just another point that was on the graph. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, number 2. Let the graph of G be a translation 2 units left and 1 unit down, followed by a reflection in the y-axis. And it gives me a graph. It says f of x equals parentheses 2x plus 1 squared minus 4. Now, again, if it's adding or subtracting on the outside, that shifts it up or down. If it's adding or subtracting on the inside, that shifts it right or left. If it's multiplying on the inside, that does a horizontal stretch or shrink. If it's multiplying on the outside, that does a vertical stretch or shrink. If you have a negative on the inside, that reflects it over the y-axis, and a negative on the outside reflects it over the x-axis. Are we reflecting it over the x-axis? No, we're not. Are we vertically stretching it or shrinking it? No, we are not. That's not changing. Are we reflecting it over the y-axis? So what do I need to insert? A negative. Are we doing any more horizontal stretching or shrinking? No. Are we going left or right any? Yeah, left. How far? 2 units. It's already been left 1. So now left 2 more would be what? 3. Because remember, when you go left, it's plus, and when you go right, it's minus. So if it already has a 1 there, if we go 2 more units, we're going to add 2 to that, and 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, as far as the minus 4 goes, did it go up or down anymore? It went down 1 more, right? It's already down 4. Down 1 more is what? Negative 5. And you wrote the rule. Yes, the rule means the equation. Okay? So again, that is nothing new. We've been dealing with that since day 1. Okay? This is the first thing that we started doing was we started inserting all those different pieces. None of that has changed. That's always been the same thing. In chapter 1, you did not have quadratics. This one has quadratics. It's the only thing that you're going to have. Number 2, identify the focus, directrix, and axis of symmetry of that particular thing. And it's got x equals 2y squared. Now, first of all, and then it does ask you to graph it. How do you find that? Remember what I gave you for formulas for this. It was either one of two options, right? The two options was x equals 1 over 4p y squared, or y equals 1 over 4p x squared. Thanks, Alan. Okay? Which one does this mirror? Does it like the first one or the second one? The first one. It's like this one, right? This is going to open left or right. The bottom ones are going to open up or down. What is the P in this situation? No, it's not 2. What does the P represent is what I probably should ask you. I wrote that a couple times on the screen and on the board. What's the P represent? It represents the distance between the focus and directrix, or no, focus and vertex, or vertex and directrix. That's what it represents. Now when it's x equals, that affects the focus this way. It's P and 0. The directrix is x equals negative P. And the axis of symmetry is y equals 0. On the up and down ones, the focus would be this way. 0 and P. The directrix would be y equals negative P. And the axis of symmetry would be x equals 0. That's how these work. The reason why I knew it was these type is because is there any adding or subtracting in the problem whatsoever? No. That means that the vertex did not change. What's the standard vertex located at? 0, 0, unless we change it. Which means we would have had to have added or subtracted something in the problem. There is no adding and subtracting in that problem whatsoever. Now, how do you find the P? Well, in the equation, do you see where it says 1 over 4p in front of the y squared? What number is in front of the y squared? 2. So you take 2 and set it equal to 1 over 4p. How do you solve for p? First I'm going to put the 2 over 1, and then I'm going to cross multiply, right? That gives me 8p equals 1. Now what? Divide by 8, and what's 1 divided by 8? 1/8. Not 8. 1/8. Right? Since this mirrored the top one, by the way, does this one open up or down? How'd you know it was up? It's positive. Good. So then my focus is at 1/8, 0. The directrix is at x equals negative 1/8. And my axis of symmetry is at y equals 0. Now, according to what they wanted me to find, they wanted me to find the focus, directrix, and axis of symmetry and then graph it. So how do I graph this? How do I graph this thing? So if I put a set of axes right here, I'm going to have to make it small to make it all fit in one screen. What's the vertex? No. The vertex is at 0, 0 because I did not add or subtract anything in the initial problem. Which way is the focus going to go when it's 1/8 and 0? To the right. How far? 1/8. Is that pretty tough to put on there if I go by ones? Yeah. So since you said that, Abby, can I just go like this and say that that's 1/8? As long as I label it, are we good? Okay. And then back here, the same distance away would be that directrix, right? At negative 1/8. And you said it would go this way, didn't you? Is that what you said? You said it goes to the right? Or up or down? I think I said up or down, but I meant to the right or to the left. How did I know it went to the right? That's the way the focus is. Plus, it's positive. It's either going to go to the right or up if it's positive. Left or down if it's negative. Did I answer all the questions? So what happens tomorrow if I give you a question like that on the test and you don't tell me the focus, the directrix, and the axis of symmetry? You lose points. How many?
3.
Probably 3, because those are 3 points on there. And then if you graphed it, that's awesome. But if you don't list those things out, I even left you spaces for that, just so you know. Again, this type of scenario right here. This is how you answer those questions. Okay, that's what that was for. We did that in, what, section 2, I believe? Section 1 was all about the shifting and whatnot still. Section 2 is starting with that. Then, on number 4, explain why a quadratic model or function models the data. Okay? Why is that a good thing? Number 4. What do you have to do for that problem? Plug it into the calculator. When you plug it into the calculator, what do you push? Stat. Then what? Into edit. Then what? X is going to list 1. Y is going to list 2. Then what? Stat. Over to calc. And then what? Number 5, quad. What are you looking for to make sure it looks good? The r squared. What value is good for r squared? 1 or negative 1. Good. When you did this, did you get a 1 or a negative 1?
Yes.
You did? Okay. So then when you wrote that out, what was the equation that you guys got? Y equals what? Does anybody have it? Negative 1x squared.
Plus negative 0.5x.
So negative 0.5x. Can I go like that?
And then plus 5.
Plus 5. Did anybody else get that equation? Okay, good. That means that we must have did it right if we've got multiple people that get that equation. Are you guys comfortable with answering that question? Can you find out that answer? Can you use your calculator to do it? That should be the easiest one you have. Or 2, if there's 2 of them like that on there. Okay? I hope so. What do you guys think? Are you guys okay with the calculator? Alright? Then, on 5, 6, and 7, it says write the equation of the parabola. You have 4 of these like this on your test. Okay? So, looking at number 5. It gives you a picture, and what I want to pull from the picture, honestly, is I don't want to draw the picture because I need more room. But it does say something in green on the picture. What does it say? Vertex. What is the vertex? Negative 3, positive 2. Is that right? I think so. Then it also gives you in red the focus. What ordered pair is the focus at? Negative 3, negative 5. Thank you, Savannah. Now, when you're writing equations, you have one of 3 options. Option 1, you have this. 1 over 4p, x minus h, the quantity squared, plus k. What form is that in? What's h and k? Vertex. Right, that's vertex form. Okay? Or, if it goes left and right, you'd have the same type of scenario happening. Y minus k squared plus h. Then the other type of form that you had was y equals a x minus p, x minus q. What kind of form is that in? Intercepts form. And the last equation that you had, which is what Savannah just gave me on the last problem, was y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That's standard form. Now, according to what you gave me a vertex. So which form do you think we're going to put it in?
Vertex.
Vertex form. Duh. Okay? So, the vertex, remember, is always your H and your K. Now, please don't make this any harder than it has to be. The -5 or -3, -5 is not on the parabola any whatsoever. So therefore, that's not your x and your y. But what that is telling you is that's telling you how far the p is. From +2 to -5 is how much in distance. If I'm up 2 and I'm down 5, how far apart are they? They're apart 7. That's the P. Okay? So because this goes down, it's going to be y equals, what's 4 times 7? 28. Quit looking confused when you multiply it. Okay? Does it go up or down? The parabola, does it go up or down? It goes down. So therefore that should be negative right there. X. Now when you put H in there, you already have a negative, but a -3 goes in there. What's two negatives make? Good. And then what's the K? +2. And you're done. Okay? If they give you a vertex and the focus, or vertex and the directrix, or for that matter, the focus and directrix, then you need to use this type of scenario. On number 6, what do they give you? Do they give you a vertex at all? No. Do they give you the intercepts? Yeah. So then we have to use intercepts form. So when we're doing that one, y equals a x minus p, x minus q. P and q, remember, are standing for your intercepts. X and the y is some arbitrary point that they give you. The a is you don't know yet. So what's the y coordinate of the point that they give you? 3? I don't know a. What's the x coordinate of the point they give you? 5. Minus, what's the first intercept? -1. So 2 negatives will make that a positive. Okay. The 5 comes back for seconds. And what's the q? 7. What is 5 plus 1? 6. What is 5 minus 7? -2. Nice. What's 6 times -2? Negative what? Good. Now, how do you solve for a? Divide both sides by -12, and you better not tell me -4. -1/4. Okay? Remember, it's the one that has the a needs to be moved, not the other one. So for that one, that's my a. Now, in order to come up with the equation, this is not the equation, by the way. This is just what a is. So y equals, what was the a you just found? -1/4. X plus 1, x minus 7. Why did I put the x and the y back in there and not the 3 and the 5? Is 3 and the 5 the only point that's on the graph? No, that's just one specific moment in time. So that's why you put x and y back in there, because of the fact that that's the whole graph, not just that one moment. Okay? Are you guys okay with that one? That's number 6. Number 7. What do they give you? The directrix and the vertex. Does this open left to right, up or down? So that means that we have x equals 1/4p y minus k plus h. When it goes left and right, that's the problem that we use. Since it goes to the right, we're going to be positive. Yes, we are. How far is the directrix from the vertex? One, two, three, four. I think I count. Is that what I think? What is 4 times 4? 1/16. Yay. Again, the distance from the directrix to the vertex or vertex to focus is what the letter P represents. So therefore, all I did was count from the directrix to the vertex 4 spaces. 4 times 4 is 16. That's how I got that 1/16. Now, does the vertex, in the vertex, the ordered pair, what's the y coordinate? So I'm going to put it as y minus 0. Is that okay? Do I have to put y minus 0 if I don't want to? I don't have. I can put just y squared. That would be okay too. But I'm making a point with this. Now, what's the h? 2. All I did was I inserted the numbers into the proper formula. Why did I choose the x equals 1 and not the y equals 1? Not necessarily. Why is it x equals not y equals? Because what else? It's right and left. Right. That's exactly right. Then, number 9 says, graph it, label the vertex and axis of symmetry, describe where the function is increasing versus decreasing. We haven't done that for a while. Okay? So when I graph the function 8x squared minus 4x plus 3, how did you guys graph this? It's in standard form. How did you graph this? How did you find the vertex? How did you find the axis of symmetry? X equals negative b over 2a. Does that thing ring a bell? That's how you find the x coordinate of the vertex. It's also your axis of symmetry. What number is in the x or b spot? What's in the a spot? 2 negatives make it a, and what's 2 times 8? 4 over 16 reduces down to what? 1/4. That's your axis of symmetry. It's also the x coordinate of the vertex. How do I find the y coordinate of the vertex? What do I do with that 1/4? Plug it in. Do some of you want to plug it in as a fraction and some of you want to do it as a decimal? Can you do it either way? Absolutely, I'll take either way. It doesn't matter to me which way you get it as long as you get the answer. So 8 1/4 squared minus 4 times 1/4 plus 3. 1/4 squared. That's 1/4 times 1/4 is 1/16. What's 8 times the 16th? Anybody know? How about this? What's 8 over 16 reduced to? 1/2. What's negative 4 times a 4th? When you multiply reciprocals together like that, you should get 1. What's 1/2 minus 1 plus 3? 2.5, I heard. I wrote it as 2.5. Did some of you guys put it in your calculator and got 2.5? Because you put it in decimal form? Is that okay? Absolutely. So now when I go to graph this, I go over a quarter. So if that's at 1, a quarter is like right here. And up 2.5. 1, 2, 3, so about halfway there. There's my vertex. There's my axis of symmetry. How did I get that? I used the formula negative b over 2a. That's how I got the axis of symmetry. How did I get the vertex, the rest of it? I plugged in the number I got when I did negative b over 2a. Okay? Now, which way should this open? Up or down? Why up? That's positive. I also know it's going to cross right here at 3. Does anybody know where I got that number from? The positive 3, right? And since it was over a quarter, then that's over there. And I have this little skinny thing like that. Now the other thing that it wanted you to tell me is whether it's increasing or decreasing. And from what number to what number. Some of you guys on the quiz, for instance, on this stuff, you guys told me increasing and decreasing, but you didn't tell me which side. You didn't tell me what number it goes to. Okay? So for this particular thing, when it's going downhill, is that increasing or decreasing? It's decreasing on the left side of what? When x is less than what? 1/4. Where did I get the 1/4 from? The axis of symmetry. That's exactly where I got it from. Then on the other side, the right side of the axis of symmetry, which means greater than. What is it doing? Increasing or decreasing? Increasing. When x is greater than 1/4. Okay? So, one of the things that's going to happen, you guys, is either going to be increasing or decreasing. Okay? It's not going to be both increasings or both decreasings. It's going to be one or the other. If it's on the left side, you put less than, and if it's on the right side, you put greater than. That's as simple as that. And what number is it greater than or less than of it? It's always the axis of symmetry. Where was the axis of symmetry? Negative b over 2a. That's how you find that. Can you do that? Can you recreate that? Because if you can, that is 2 questions that ask you to do that. Okay? Number 10. Sunfire is a machine with a parabolic cross-section used to collect solar energy. The sun's rays are reflected from the mirrors towards 2 boilers located at the focus of the parabola. The boilers produce steam that powers an alternator to produce electricity. Write the equation that represents the cross-section of the dish shown with the vertex at 0, 0. Does this open up or down, left or right? For number 10. Up. So therefore we're going to be y equals 1 over 4 p x squared. What's the distance from the focus to the vertex? How much? Look at what it's actually showing you. From the boilers, which said it's at the focus, to the vertex is how far? 10 feet. So what's 4 times 10? 40. You just come up with the equation. Good job. Okay, that was it. Now as far as part B goes, when it says what's the depth of them? Okay, now for depth, what they want you to do for that, this is why they give you the 37, is that you're going to split it in half, and then you're going to put 37 halves into your equation to see what you get. Okay, so for that particular part, when I put 37 halves in there, or what is that? 37 halves, 6, 18.5. Okay. When you put it back in the equation, what do you get? That's part A, by the way. Part B. What do you guys get?
Is it
8 point what?
55625?
556. So I'm just going to go this way.
Or do you want
Feet. I went to the 100th spot. 8.56 feet. Can you do that? Can you find an equation like we did there and then plug in a number? You're going to have one like that. So I'm asking you, can you do that? Okay, good. Number 11. In 2011, the price of gold reached an all-time high. The table shows prices in dollars per troy ounce of gold each year since 2006. T of 0 represents 2006. Find a quadratic function that best models the data. Use the model to predict the price of gold in the year 2016. What are they asking you to do, you guys? What are they asking you to do for number 11?
make a prediction?
Make a prediction or find the model. How do you find the model when you have a table like that? Put it in the calculator, just like you did on number 4. So first thing I want to know is what's the equation you got? Well, I know, but I want the numbers. What's A?
42.32. And then 630.46.
630?
600.
Yeah, 0.46. Anybody else get that? Or close to it? So stat into edit. I get rid of all of Abby's junk that she's got in here. So I'm throwing away her trash. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 603.46. 695.39. 871.96. 972.35. 1224.53, 1571.52, and then I go stat, over to calc, down to quadratic regression, calculate, and I did not get that. Okay? Sorry, Savannah, I didn't get it. Here's what I got. I got 28.17 x squared plus 45.65 x plus 617.49. That's what I got. And that R squared value is 0.991 blah blah blah. Pretty dang close to 1. Anybody else get this one? A couple people got this one that I got. Now what happened between me and Savannah, I'm guessing, and no offense to Savannah, but she might have typed one number wrong. You know how close we were though? See how close we were? But the A was way different, and that's why I wanted to run it, because I knew what I got, or supposed to get. So, make sure when you type that in, that you get all the pieces right. That's 2 questions on your test, just like 4 and 11. You should be able to get these ones easy, I hope. Then, use the model to predict the price of gold in the year 2016. What number do you plug in? You plug in 2016? No, it's how many years since 2006? So how many years is that? 10. So what would happen is I would put 28.17 times 10 squared plus 45.65 times 10 plus 617.49, and whatever I get there, that's my answer. 28.17 times 10 squared plus 45.65 times 10 plus 617.49, and I got 3,890 and 99 cents. Did anybody else get that? That's what I got. Anybody else get that when you typed it in? Okay, good. Now, is that the price of gold right now? You know, they're considering it being a quadratic model, which means it's continuing to grow. Is the price of gold growing? I don't even know what it is right now, honestly. But markets change, right? So it is for this part, but not necessarily in real life stuff. That was all of them. Okay? Again, one more time. On number 1, on your chapter review, you found another point on the parabola. Can you do that? Then 2 and 3, you had to write, or number 2, you had to write the rule. Can you do that? Can you insert the pieces? Okay? On this particular thing, you've got 2 of those. On number 3 on your review, identify the focus, directrix, and axis of symmetry. Can you do that? You have 1 of them. And I didn't even ask you to graph it after that. On number 4 on your chapter review, can you find the equation of best fit? Can you find that quadratic model? I hope so. That's number 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Can you write the equation of the parabola given a picture? That's just like what you did on 5 through 7 on here is exactly like 6, 7, 8, 9 on your test. 10, 11, and 12 say graph. And it says complete the table. And what we did was we put a little table on the side that said things like focus, directrix, axis of symmetry, increasing and decreasing. Are you guys okay with and comfortable with those? Then 13 is very similar to number 10 that you had on your chapter review. And number 14 is very similar to number 11 on your quiz, or on your review. Again, you can make your quarter sheet or note card, whichever you prefer. Okay. Make sure if you're forgetting or missing anything,